Hello everyone, welcome back to Matriarch Astrology, and in today's video we are going to be talking about Venus through the houses. And of course, like every video, I will be offering you guys some helpful and useful tips on how to work with the Venusian energy or the energy of the planet based on what house it is placed in. So Venus is the planet of beauty, art, passion, and just this more gentle, soft energy. The Venusian energy really helps us draw things towards us that bring a sense of balance or harmony depending on the house that she is in. In traditional astrology, which is what I work with, Venus also finds what's called her joy in the 5th house. And that can tell us a lot about what Venus is valuing. And in the 5th house, that's about creativity, pleasure, and play. However, Venus expresses herself differently through each house. So let's go on ahead and get started. Also, if you were born with Venus natally retrograde in your birth chart, I have already made a video on that topic, and you can go on ahead and check out that video for more insights. You can see it at the top, or I can also link it down below for you to watch. So let's first talk about Venus placed in the 1st house. Now, I just want to mention real quick that Venus is called exalted, which means she is in her throne in the sign of Pisces, and she is at home in the sign of Libra and Taurus. So those are very good signs to have your Venus in. And it's considered a little bit more harder, so detriment and fall, when Venus is in the signs of Virgo, Aries, as well as Scorpio. So just keep that in mind, because that is also very important to note when we're talking about these houses. So let's first start off with Venus in the 1st house. The 1st house is about your identity, your vitality, and how others perceive you at a first glance. So Venus being in the 1st house can give you a sense of charm or attractiveness. You just may have this ability to attract people or resources without having to really put in much effort. With Venus here, people might say that you have a calming or magnetic energy or aura about you. You may feel the need to be liked or to keep up with your physical appearance and your beauty or just your self-expression. But a good tip here would be not to be afraid of your own softness, because that is a part of your strength. So you want to let that be seen, and not just for your beauty, but also just for who you are as an individual. Next up, we have Venus in the 2nd house. So the 2nd house is about resources. It's your sense of self-worth and the things you find value in. It's also about income and possessions that links to your sense of self-esteem. So Venus being here in the 2nd house could attract a gift or resources or just straight up money, especially through creativity or something that's connected to aesthetics. So you could make money through the beauty industry or something creative. So this may show up as having a love for really nice quality materials or a strong connection between your worth and what you create on your own. A very important tip for this placement would be to watch out for overspending in order to self-soothe. There's nothing wrong with really nice, expensive materials, and it's always great to splurge and give yourself that tender, loving care. But with this placement, I would really just be mindful about maybe overspending, especially during those more stressful times. So this is like the shopper that kind of like goes and shops when they're sad or upset, and that might not be so beneficial for the pocket. So just build wealth in ways that are also building up your own form of self-love, because your values and things that you find value in are very powerful guides for you. Next up, we have Venus in the 3rd house. And the 3rd house is about communications, short distance travel, as well as siblings and neighbors. Spiritually, this house is also tied to the goddess energy. So having Venus here can bring a sweetness to your everyday exchanges, whether that's through your communications with others, out and about in your community, things like that. With Venus here, you may speak in a persuasive or poetic way. You could also have really beautiful writing. So like either writing in cursive really nice, or just have these beautiful poems that you write. With this placement, you can also smooth over conflicts easily. Now, just remember here the sign that it is in. If it's in Aries, it's a little bit different. But if Venus is in the, Cancer or Pisces, then you may be able to smooth over some conflicts a little bit more easily, especially with siblings. And also, if you do have siblings, those relationships may also be something that you are emotionally very close to. So they're very important to you. So with this placement, your voice is a gift, literally. So you want to use it to your advantage. You can use it to express truth in beautiful ways, whether that's through poetry or even just podcasting, speaking. Some people may say that you have a beautiful voice. Next up, we have Venus in the 4th house. Now, the 4th house is about home, your childhood, as well as your ancestral roots. This house is about your inner world, as well as your emotional foundations. So Venus being placed here in the 4th house is really craving that beauty, harmony, and stability within the home environment. So you may naturally feel a sense of nurturing when you are creating a beautiful home. So this is someone that may want to decorate their space and make it very aesthetically pleasing, very beautiful things. They could really spend time, picking out different colors for their home and trying out different type of fabrics and things like that, nice smells. And that's a way to feel safe and nurtured. Also, family relationships, especially with maternal figures, so like grandmother or mother, can be something very Venusian, or you may have experienced that relationship in a Venusian way. Again, other planets in this house are also going to play a significant role. The sign Venus is in and the aspect. So just take this as very general because I do not have your birth chart to see exactly how this may play out. Now, a great tip if you have Venus here in the 4th house is to create a safe, secure, sacred space within your home, no matter how small or big it is. You want to really put an emphasis also on beautifying it. Now, I know finances all come into play, so as much as you financially can, beautify it and make it, just perfect for you, whatever that is for you, whether it's color, textures, or scents. That's really going to help you bring in a balance and use that Venusian energy in the way that she wants to be expressed through that beauty and pleasure, because beauty is really going to help heal your nervous system. Also, having boundaries with family or family members is going to be something very important here as well with this 4th house energy. Having those strong boundaries can preserve the peace while also allowing the love to flow. Next up, we have Venus in the 5th house. Now, remember, she is in her house of joy here. So she is kind of like, let's say, in her throne, especially if Venus is in the sign of Pisces, which is exalted. I'm jealous of people who have Venus and Pisces in the 5th house. Like, chef's kiss. Or Venus in Taurus or Libra here in the 5th house. Now, the 5th house rules love affairs, art, creativity, those hobbies and adventure, as well as children. The 5th house is really just stuff that really sparks that inner joy for you. So this may show up in being magnetic in relationships, or people are just really magnetically drawn to you, especially with the boyfriend and girlfriend phase. You could be a naturally just happy person, so like this joyful energy. You could be creatively gifted or naturally find joy around kids, whether that's your own or other children, or just find passion and joy in your hobbies, whether that's knitting, crochet, whatever it is that you are into, that's something creative. That's where you really can find that inner spark and joy. Now, tip, if you do have this placement, do not downplay your need for that joy and that creative expression, because with this placement, you are wired to create, whether that's through art, through music, or some type of creative hobby, or just in those small magical moments with a romantic partner. I would highly also check to see if the ruler of the midheaven is Venus here in the 5th house, because that's going to also give you even more insight into your career and how your career should be tied into this creative 5th house energy. And as an astrologer, when I see the midheaven ruler being placed in the 5th house and it's Venus, I'm like, are you doing something creative as your career? Because that's literally how it wants to express itself. But that's mainly something that I look at in chart readings. It's not something that I can talk about mainly here in these very general videos. Next up, we have the 6th house, the house of work, routine, illness, as well as servitude. Now, the 6th house is often considered difficult, and that's because this is the house of health, labor, as well as service. So Venus being placed here may feel like she has to work harder in order to feel soft or safe. Again, how challenging this may be is going to depend on the sign that Venus is in. However, Venus here can also create beauty and structure. So Venus here feels like she has to put in the work first before she can sit down and do something pleasurable that she enjoys. And this actually makes me think about the chapter 10 in the book Women Who Run with the Wolves. And I'm going to double make sure that it is chapter 10. But in that chapter, it talks about how a woman first feels like she has to take care of everything before she can sit down and tap into her creative energy. And that's more about cleaning the house and feeling like she has to do all the responsibilities. And that's our sixth house of responsibilities, the routines, doing the laundry, doing the dishes, before she can earn the ability to sit down and do something that she enjoys, whether that's crocheting or doing art. It feels like she has to earn that by first finishing all these responsibilities. So that really makes me think of this Venus here in the sixth house. So if you have been feeling that way and you have this placement, just know that sometimes those things can wait, because your creative spark, especially for women, is that divine creative energy that you have that taps into your femininity. But again, I'm not trying to just be a one-sided, but just particularly for women here. You might attract partners through work or struggle with overgiving, especially in those caregiver roles. So a great way to work with this energy would be to romanticize your daily routines. So if you can, add a touch of softness or a nice scent when it comes to your daily task. So if you are going to do something as mundane as doing the laundry, maybe putting in some scent there in a diffuser so that it feels a little bit more luxurious with the Venus energy, as luxurious as folding laundry can be. Watch out for codependency at work or also in relationships, especially if the ruler of the seventh is Venus here in the sixth house. And with the sixth house of health and routines, just remember that your body also deserves pleasure, not just performance. So don't over push here, and also give it some nice tender loving care through a type of like massage or spa day. Next up, we have Venus in the seventh house, and the seventh house is about relationships, contracts, as well as marriage. Now this house governs those one-on-one connections, so that's your partnerships, also collaborations with others, or business partnerships as well. So having this placement can show that you naturally are seeking balance in all of those partnerships, whether it's professional or more personal and romantic. You may struggle when those partnerships are not so harmonious, and you're going to want to strive to bring that back into fairness or back into an equal balance. You're often seen as desirable and can attract romantic attention from suitable partners easily. I noticed that I didn't put my sweater back on. All right. A great tip for this energy would be to make sure that you are focusing a lot on your self-worth and not just mainly putting a lot of energy towards keeping the peace, especially in a relationship. Use that energy more for yourself and focusing on self-worth and self-love first. And do not lose your identity in trying to be the perfect partner. I'm not coming for you guys. I'm just saying. The eighth house is going to be dealing with deep emotional ties, intimacy, as well as inheritances. That can be financial or ancestral. So Venus here in the eighth house is more intense. She's emotionally perceptive and drawn to those taboo topics of the occult, astrology, as well as the paranormal. And with Venus and the topic of love, she is also drawn towards those hidden aspects of love. So this can manifest as attracting more karmic or complex relationships. Pleasure can feel dangerous or even transformational. And financial entanglements, especially with the partner's resources, because the eighth house also represents the partner's resources, can bring gifts as well as lessons. So a great tip with Venus here in the eighth house would be to allow pleasure, art, and creativity be a type of outlet. This can help it become some type of portal for transformation, not loss. And this can be something like practicing tantric yoga or art therapy. Art therapy is a great way to process your emotions, especially those deep heartbreaks that may occur, or just, those deep things that you may not find easily to talk about. You can channel that through art therapy. And there's plenty of art therapy videos for free on YouTube for you to check. And you can channel your heartbreak through something creative as well, if that is something that is occurring. But also, since this is the house of the occult, then that's why I mentioned the tantric energy. This can really help you tap into the deep intimacy without having that fear of loss. So doing that with your partner, if they are open to it, would be a great way to use this energy. And however you want to do that, tantric, yoga, or anything else, that's up to you. Consent always. Next up, we have Venus in the 9th house, and the 9th house is about belief, travel, and higher education, as well as spirituality. This house governs over expansion of the mind, and this may occur through travel, higher learning, or spirituality. Venus being placed here may manifest itself as being attracted or even getting with a partner that is from a different culture, that came from abroad, or just has different beliefs. You may love to teach, write, or travel as forms of pleasure. So you want to let your pleasure be something sacred to you. You don't have to choose between love and freedom, because this house is also associated with a sense of freedom. You can blend the two of them together. So just build a life that offers you both freedom and expansion and pleasure. Next up, we have Venus in the 10th house, and the 10th house is associated with career, our public image, as well as authority figures. Venus here adds charm, diplomacy, as well to a sense of allure in your professional presence. You may gain recognition in your ability to bring people together, or in your creative art if you are an artist. So careers in art, fashion, relationships, or healing may be appealing to you. So with Venus here, a good tip would be to not feel so guilty about wanting to be admired. It's okay to love beauty and ambition. Just make sure that your worth is not tied to the applause. Next up, we have Venus in the 11th house, and this house is about friends, community, and long-term goals. Venus being placed here can really help you form beautiful bonds in your community. And also, you may find that you get support from friends or from social networks. You may be the one who keeps your friend group together. And remember, this also depends on what other planets are here in the 11th house, and also the sign that it is in and aspects. People may also be drawn to your overall vision or your aesthetic. When it comes to relationships, you may fall in love with a partner who shares your same ideals or your same big dreams and goals. So a good tip here would be to align with communities that support your values, not just your image. And just remember that your dreams are worth investing in. And last, we have Venus in the 12th house, the house of sacrifice, solitude, spiritual and mystical things, as well as the subconscious mind. 12th house is more of a mystical, private, and exiled part of the chart. So Venus being here can feel like she's hidden or unexpressed at times. But here she can also be devotional, artistic, as well as innately intuitive. So one way this can show up is sacrificing for a partner, meaning that you could move abroad, because it's also foreign shores. You could move abroad for a partner here with the 12th house energy. So that's a form of sacrifice and leaving everything that you've grown up and have grown up knowing for a partner. It can also tie into secret love affairs. Now, don't take that as a fact. It's just something that ties in, especially if Venus is the ruler of the 7th house. But that's one manifestation here of Venus in the 12th, is having secret love affairs. Also, a good way to use this Venusian energy is to create art in private, or whatever it is that you find creativity and beauty in. Just do that in a more solitude type of environment, so by yourself. Because Venus may express herself more through that art form, or even dreams, because the 12th house is dreams, more than she can express herself through speech. So a good tip with Venus here in the 12th is to make space for stillness, because Venus here in the 12th needs privacy and softness. So allow your creativity to bloom in sacred spaces. Make sure that you are taking that time alone to be creative. And if and when you are ready, you can share it. So overall, Venus does bring grace and beauty in whatever house she lands in. However, she's going to teach us different different lessons depending on what house she is placed in. So Venus brings grace and beauty to every house, and she also teaches us those lessons, again, depending on the house that she falls in, whether that is being in the 5th house of joy or in the hidden subconscious realms of the 12th house. She is always going to be guiding us back to pleasure, love, and what we truly enjoy and find value in. Let me know down in the comments where Venus is and how she has shown up in your life. And if you found this video helpful, please make sure to like and subscribe for more. Until next time, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.